DeForest, what about this Detroit team makes them so difficult to contain for a full 60 minutes of a game?
Yeah, obviously they play hard for all 4 quarters. They play really well together, especially offensively. On the offensive line, they do a really good job, working with each other, communicating. They got a lot of great skill players. They probably got one of the best, running back duos in the league. And obviously Jared Goff is playing at a very high level. So, defensively we got to be on, a lot of our keys and our technique, and we just got to continue to communicate better. And just make sure that everybody, especially in the run game, are in their gaps and their fits.
When you watch their tape, have you recalled another offense that gets as unique with their play calls? Like they do the laterals, the hook and ladders, and they get offensive linemen going in the passing. Have you encountered throughout your career at all an offense kind of that unique?
Yeah, actually, I've played against the Chiefs a couple of times. You know what I mean? They're really efficient offense, especially over the past couple of years. But watching the tape, they like you said, they do a whole lot of stuff, and they do it at, they execute at a high level. That's what makes them so such a great team offensively, is because those plays they execute at a very high level. And they do a great job with hiding their tendencies.
How much do you, you and Grove specifically, take on the challenge of, this is a really physical offensive line, but they want to run the ball. How do you kind of just approach that challenge?
No, yeah, each and every week, obviously, you want to play physical up front and stop the run game. That's the approach every single week. Obviously, they're third in the league in rushing, and so it's a great challenge. And as a competitor, you always want to go against the best. So it's gonna be fun.
You and Grove got involved again on offense. How are you guys itching to get back out there and put a ball?
Yeah, we got to clean some things up. But that offensive snap, you got to give credit to the Jets. They did a great job getting penetration up front, and kind of blowing the play up. So, we're gonna need a little bit more practice.
It's not as easy as it looks, huh?
Oh, definitely not. I've played offense in the past, but obviously not in the league. But we just gotta go back to the drawing board on that one.
Is it you to the corner, Grover to the flat? Is that the wrinkle for the pass game?
Couldn't tell you.
Shane sounded like he was willing to give you guys another shot at it.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to see how it goes.
Did Z give you any tips on how to get in there? Because almost scored a touchdown in one of his plays. Or did score a touchdown in one of his plays last year.
Yeah. Z did a great job being out there. Yeah, I watched the plays. Okay, the first play Z had. The first play he did a great job being a decoy. He didn't block one soul. And the second play he ran a little route to the flat, and there was a touchdown scored on that play, I believe.
Maybe you can take something from him and be like the play action decoy.
Yeah, for sure. He's a great actor, so I got to take some of those tips.
All right, man. Buck, last week we talked a lot about the spot Shane's been in. His first really really big decision he had to kind of work through. Just how do you think he kind of dealt with all of that and everything that was going on the past 2 weeks to get you guys in a place to do what you did on Sunday?
Yeah, obviously with the head coach position, you got to make a lot of hard decisions, and I feel like, he made the decision that he thought was best. And, obviously in that time period, the team never wavered from AR, and we always still have belief in AR. And, when he got his opportunity again this past Sunday, he made the most of it. And, he only learned, from that experience, from the 2-week mention. And obviously he came out and firing on all cylinders and had a career day for himself. So he just got to continue to build that.
DeForest, you guys have 9 sacks in the last 3 games. Just what's changed up front for you guys to get in a little bit of a rhythm there? Yeah,
I just feel like guys a lot of guys are getting in the flow of pass rushing and things like that, and each and every week they're continuing to build, and has to do a lot with them watching film, being on their keys and executing it in practice. I always say if you can't sack the quarterback in practice, you can't do it on game day. So just each and every day we're out there, guys are working on their craft, and I feel like Charlie and the coaching staff in our D-line room are doing a really good job with teaching the technique.
What do you think of the way Lax was kind of stuck with it?
Yeah, I mean, it's, obviously it's up and down, in this league, and I think Laiatu is finally starting to get that, and you just got to continue to work each and every day, and he's been continuing to benefit from it. You know what I mean? Those sacks are starting to come, and it's going to be fun going into this next half of the season, seeing how well he does.
Have you kind of seen Laiatu handle plays where he's maybe won his pass rush but hasn't generated the pressure, or hasn't got a sack because they got the ball out quicker, they've rolled it away from him?
No, yeah. I mean, as a young player, you definitely get frustrated. I mean, I was frustrated at times when that happened throughout my career when I was, a younger player. But, you just got to continue to do it. You know what I mean? If you're back there, it means you're beating your guy in front of you. And so he's been able to stick with it, and it's starting to accumulate. So
last question for
I'm excited for him.
Hey, Buck, is there anything you kind of admire about Kenny Moore? He's kind of outlasted a lot of guys here and still making plays long into his career.
Kenny is, he's always working on his craft. Always, you know what I mean? Each and every day he comes in and, he wants to practice at a high level, and he goes out there and plays on game day at a high level, and I respect, his work ethic and everything that he does and that he puts into this game. So it's been fun to watch him, grow over the years since I've been here.
It's kind of a quiet leader, but why is that effective?
Sometimes you don't need guys to be all, the raw guys around the locker room. Some of the best leaders that I've known, were led by example. You know what I mean? They didn't say a whole lot, and their actions speak for themselves, and that's what he does each and every day.
What do you see on the tape with Detroit, and what do you think that challenge is for you?
Yeah, those guys, they get after it. A real physical group up front. They play hard. They're gonna play all 4 quarters. It's gonna be a physical matchup for sure. They like to bring the noise. So good thing about it is, though, we're at home, feed off the energy of the crowd. We're gonna have to definitely be on our A game, though, for sure.
You guys have kind of established a personality, I think, as a team that wants to run the ball, but everybody else knows that too. What's that like? Just kind of dealing with the reality that teams are gonna try to shut it down, like Jets did, I guess.
Really accepting the challenge and knowing that, like you mentioned, that's going to be a key emphasis for teams. So are you up for the challenge? And then the competitive nature that we have, myself, the guys up front, the rest of the running backs, we want to embrace that challenge because we know that if you can overcome that, it's a great feeling because you put the work in all week and you knew what their assignment was coming in. So for us, it's really embracing that and understanding it's not going to be easy, but you wouldn't want it any other way.
And you guys still stuck with it, though, even though the yards weren't coming. Was there a tangible effect in other ways from staying committed to the run?
And I think what you just mentioned is just staying committed. A lot of teams try to have teams shy away from it so that, they can kind of change, their scheme, their plan, what they're doing. But for us, staying committed and being able to stay true to that, it forces them to stay true and saying, okay, well, these guys are going to stick with it. So just being able to keep that mindset, keep working, and eventually, those big runs will come.
How do you kind of keep your mindset, like, when you're not getting a ton on the ground to not try to go make a play, not try to bounce something outside that might not be there? Like, how do you kind of stick to what you need to do in a play?
That comes from time, for sure. Younger years, especially college, and then just first coming in the league, you want to just be the guy to make a play, make a spark. And yes, you want to do that, but you got to understand. You kind of have perimeters, guidelines, like, hey, don't just go AWOL, go rogue on a play, because if you do, you better be right. But other than that, it's just understanding the scheme, understanding the task at hand, and just understanding that it's a 4-quarter game.
Anthony was saying yesterday that one of the things he wants to continue working on is just avoiding the fumbles. What's the key on those kind of exchange plays where you guys have had a couple of?
Number one, well, for him, I know quarterback is different. They can get the snap any which way, so I know that plays a big factor into it of, him getting his feet right. And then for me, I'm just making sure that I'm great on my paths, whether it's a flat, whether it's downhill, making sure that I'm where I need to be so that Anthony can just focus on his job solely because it is a lot.
Is it just you do it and if it's up to him whether or not to give it to you or not give it to you, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I won't take the ball. No, you shouldn't take the ball. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Everyone we've talked to, they've been rooting for Anthony this whole time through the ups and the downs. It feels like it's been a minute since a Colts quarterback has taken over in the 4th quarter and led a comeback victory. What did you guys learn about him last week?
His resilience. Just when those moments come, when we always talk about situational football, making those plays in those critical times, and that's what he did. And I think that's a prime example of what we've been preaching is, how can we just make those plays in those critical times? Because those great teams, those elite teams, when it comes down to situational ball and those critical moments, those are the guys that come out on top each and every single week. They find a way to make those plays.
JT, why do you, I guess personally, why did you still believe in him? I know a lot of the other guys said the same thing, but he's just saying now after that fourth quarter, but before that, through the injuries, the benching, things like that.
Number one, I think it just comes with time. You talk about a lot of these quarterbacks that come in, whether it's from high school to college, they just played ball in general. They played ball in general, and with him just not having as much ball played, it's like the skill set that he has, the things that he's able to do with such little ball that he's played. It's like, how could you not just get behind him, not only from that aspect, but from how he is off of the field as a person? How could you not get behind somebody like that to help your team win games and help lead your franchise?